hope people can hear me. I hope everyone can hear me. But I want to say I don't own the music that is playing in the background. I wanted to say that first and foremost. I wanted to get that out of the way. And I hope people can see me and hear me. So I have been having issues with going live. I want to say that first. That's because that's one of the reasons why I haven't been on for the past few weeks. I have been trying to come live, but I have not been able to. I think I've been on Facebook jail or Facebook restriction or some type of Facebook shutdown for some reason, but I haven't been able to go live. So I'm just hoping that some people can hear me and some people can see me. Kayla. All right, I'm trying to do my live. Thank you. All right. So I hope that people can see me and I hope that people can hear me. So if you can say something and let me know that you can see me and hear me. And I want to repeat again that I do not own the music that's playing in the background. And I just want to thank everyone that is on here, that is live, that is attending the live and that can see me and that can hear me if you are on here. But I want to pick up from where I left off. I had come on here a few weeks ago before all of the protesting and everything had started, and I was talking about blended families. And I said I was going to do a part 3, and so I wanted to come on and pick up from where I left off. But before I get started, hey Chantel, Dr. Teasdale, thank you for joining in. So I guess I am live. Yay, I'm back. I'm off of Facebook jail. Yay. I'm so glad because I missed everyone. I have been trying to come live for the past few weeks and I haven't been able to. I have missed everyone. But anyway, before I start and go into my topic, Blended Families Part 3, I want to kind of briefly talk about some things that I have coming up. So I have partnered with the House of Ruth. That is a domestic violence place for victims, for battered women. And beginning August 1st, I am going to be trying to raise money and partnering with them to raise money and trying to collect money because we're going to be buying some items. They're not collecting donated items at the time due to the COVID and stuff like that. So we're going to be trying to raise money to purchase items for the families. And some of the items that we're going to be purchasing, I wrote down some things, so that's why I'm looking away. We're going to be purchasing like bedding items, clothing hampers, housing essentials, feminine hygiene products, laundry pods, brooms, mops, dustpans, all of those good things. So if you are interested in donating, please let me know and I can send you my Cash App, or I can also try to type my Cash App in here, which I'll do that right now because I'm going to be raising money to purchase items to donate to them for the month of August. And also, let me put this Cash App information in here for the House of Ruth. I'm really excited about partnering with them because many of you may not know, but I was in a previous relationship where I was also a victim of domestic violence. And so I have a passion for, for domestic violence, just for that nature. And so more to come with that. So that's a part of my story too. We all have stories, and that's just a part of my life story too. So if you're interested in donating for that, that's my Cash App there. Let me see. What else I got? So also I recently launched my mom's shop. And I have a mom's t-shirt that I launched and a mom's mug. Here's my little mug. It's called Moms Are Brave, that you can, sip some tea or coffee out of. So if you want to buy your mom a gift, just something that she can have, just something to remind her that she's brave. Moms are bad, brave and determined. That's what the BAD stands for. And I got some upcoming some more items that I'll be putting out there too, that'll be coming up. You can also look into that too. But anyway, I wanted to get to my topic of what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be talking about blended families, part 3. I had talked about blended families, part 1 and part 2, a few, I think it might have been even a month or 2 ago. But because I have been on Facebook jail, which I don't know why I was on Facebook jail or lockdown, I couldn't go live. Like, I missed y'all so much. I hadn't been able to get on here. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. And so I think we got a few viewers in, which is great. So from part 3, we're going to be kind of talking about, and I took some notes because I like to write stuff down. And that's just for me. When I'm talking about something, I like to take notes. I like to do my research. I don't just come out and say, oh, this is how it is. I am open, meaning that I do my research and then I put in life experiences too. And then, if people have opinions about it, that's fine too. So I'm not like everything is so black and white. That's not how I view things. I'm not just a black and white person because everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own experience. And, and then there's also research. So, it's neither here nor there. But anyway, I'm pretty sure there are some blended families that are tuning in. And I don't know if many of you know, I'm a blended family as well. Me and my husband, we have 5 children together. This is just a small synopsis so that people that have not watched my previous blended families, so they'll know. We have our 2 smaller children are me and his together. I have a son from a previous relationship, and then my husband has 2 children from a previous marriage. So that's why we're blended. But no one would know that unless we tell people. So yes, we're blended. We're blessed. So in this, I think part 3 is more juicier than part 1 and part 2. And so part 3 kind of talks about dealing with the ex. I don't know, it's going to we're diving right into it, dealing with the ex. And so it says, from what I gather, it says research suggests that if you want a healthy marriage, you have to find a way of dealing with the ex-boyfriend, the ex-girlfriend, or ex-spouse, and so on. What do y'all think about that? If you want a healthy marriage. Anybody got anything to say about that? So I'm just going to speak from my experience. And because I can't speak factual for anybody, for the worldview, I can only speak from my experience with this. And so, you can take it and apply it how you want to apply it because everybody has a different experience. And that's just my approach with everything, because I've experienced a lot of different things. So for me, I think that it applies when, if the exes are willing to act maturely and are level-headed and are mentally stable. And the reason I say that, and I'm just gonna be transparent with that, is because my experience with my ex, in my opinion, he was not very level-headed whenever trying to deal with, parental, when we're trying to co-parent, when we're trying to come up with parenting plans, when we had to go back and forth to court, when we tried to come up with visitation plans for our son, like anything that had to do with anything trying to come together and trying to work things out, level-headedness, it did not work because, in my opinion, I felt like he did not want to work to be level-headed. That's just my opinion. He didn't want things to be calm. He didn't want things to be calm and collective. There was always some type of strife, always some type of aggression, and always some type of just disrespect, things like that, things of that nature. So that's just my opinion. And And then in regards to, I can't speak to my husband's experience, but I can speak to my experience with my husband's ex. And it was kind of the same thing. There was no meet in the middle where we could co-parent effectively, and to where we was able to be calm, and to work through things without to make it work. It just I mean, and I can say that I tried. I know that my husband tried, and I can say that we tried, and it just, for some reason, it just didn't work. And so I think with that question, having a healthy marriage, I think that we have a healthy marriage, but I don't think that played a role on our marriage, like it being healthy in general. But does it play an effect on how we raise our children, and how we and how we make rules in our house and different things like that? Well, sure it does, because whenever the kids would go visit with their biological parent, the opposite parent, when they would come back, we would have to, especially when they were smaller, we would have to sometimes retrain them, or reprogram them, should you say. But now we don't necessarily have to do that, because we had to make it clear that what goes on in our house is our house. These are our rules, and this is how things are going to flow. So it's about being on that same page, being just being one. You have to come together and be one. Now another thing is we have to communicate. Another research point was that you have to communicate with your ex consistently. Now, I think this is based on the age of the children, and also, again, the maturity level of the ex. I don't know what y'all think. I think it just depends. I think it all depends, again, because you just never know what you're dealing with. Now, if the ex is willing to communicate effectively and communicate calmly, and being able to work through the things, and being able to to talk through things in a calm manner, and you guys are able to just sit down and say, hey, let's talk through this. How can we come up with a plan? How can we work through this? How can we, hey sister, hey Whitney, how can we figure things out? How can we make sure that the kids' needs are being met appropriately, whether it's their emotional needs, their physical needs, their mental needs, their psychological needs, all of their needs being met by all of the parental parents, whether they're the biological parents, the step parents, I don't care, whatever parental role you play. How can we effectively sit down and talk about it to where we're all on the same page? Now, yeah, so I think it can happen, but like I said, sometimes we may have to get a third party involved. I know with my personal situation, it was times where we had to get my mom involved. And, I hated to say, my mom played a big role in, with my ex and how we communicated for my son, because I felt as though my ex did not want to, he did not want to be level-headed about some, about situations. So my mom often played the middleman. I hated to put her in that situation. And although we had, court orders in place of the parenting plan and all of that, he still did not want to communicate effectively, because the judge can't order the ex, guy or woman to respect your ex or to talk to your ex in a respectful tone. He can't order that. He cannot order that. So at the end of the day, if you don't want to deal with, how that person talks to you, sometimes you may have to bring in a third party, and that may be a mom, an aunt, a cousin, or whoever that may be to keep the situation calm. And so, but I can't speak for him. He may have a whole different experience with me. He may have a whole different side, and that's okay. We all have our experiences with how we interact with people and what our experience was like. I can only speak for myself, and this is my truth, and whatever his truth may be, that's okay too. I can only speak for myself. And then another thing, with that, they, from what I was reading in my research, it says that it's easier to establish this in the beginning. So when you're becoming a blended family, try to establish communication from the get-go, because it's easy to bring about the poor communication if you don't establish it right up front. Like whenever you're becoming a blended family and that, hey, we're going to get married, we're going to blend this family, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. Establish the communication with the other parents, the biological parents, up front, and try to come up with a plan up front so that when you do enter this whole blended family thing, you can kind of all be on the same page, if you can make it work. And sometimes it will, and then sometimes it won't. And sometimes, and I think that sometimes it doesn't work is because the other person may still have feelings for that person, or the other person may be still holding on to some hurt they haven't let go. And so that's when, it just gets tricky in that piece. So yeah. But I think once those parties have let all feelings go, once you put those feelings aside and you say, hey, it's about the kids, then that's when progress can seem to move forward. But until then it's gonna be, it's gonna be that strife. But you also got to make sure you keep God at the forefront. I know for us, we've always, we always kept God at the forefront no matter what. We always kept a prayer life. We always kept God at the forefront. We hadn't always been Christians. Now I'm gonna say that, being transparent. We hadn't always been Christians, but we always prayed and always asked God to help us through our situations, because through everything you need God. You know what I'm saying? You can't make it in this world without God, and so that's just what it was for us. Another piece of research that I found, it says dealing with your ex shows your current spouse that you are truly there to support them and to be a part, and that you're showing that you want to be a part of the team. You're taking interest in all of their life. So they're basically saying, hey, Chelsea, how are you? Good to see you, girl. That's basically saying, like, if you're like taking the interest in trying to deal with the ex up front, or even in the middle, wherever you are in your situation, that you're trying to make it comfortable for your spouse. So for example, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna talk about myself. So for example, when me and my husband first got together, and because our situation happened quick, we met, we fell in love within like 2 to 3 weeks, and we got married like a couple months later, like 2-3 months later. Like it happened real fast for us. So our stuff happened real quick. But anyway, so for example, whenever I try to, interact with his ex, she, and this is just my opinion, this is my experience, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear with that. So my experience was she never gave me a chance to show her who I was as an individual, and who I was as a person, to get to know me, to say, oh, okay, she may be a good person, or this or that. So there was never that opportunity. But for a new situation, I think it's important for the ex and the new spouse to try, or the fiance or whoever, if you're coming into the situation, for you all to try to build a relationship. I think it's important if you can. But if you can't, if you tried, then as long as your spouse know you tried, then that's all that matters. You tried to do your part, and that person wasn't willing to receive and wasn't open to it, then there's nothing that you can do, and you've done your part, and that's that. And we both did that. My husband did that with my ex, and I did that with his ex, and it just, we accepted the fact that it's not going to work, and they didn't want it, so we couldn't force it. So that's where it left off with that. So but we did set a rule not to speak negatively about the exes in front of the kids. That's another thing. You don't want to speak negatively about the kids' parents in front of the kids. So you don't want to so you don't want to speak about, yeah, you don't want to speak negative about the other parent in front of the kids, negative at all, because that will definitely hinder your relationship with your stepchild. Hey mom, that will definitely hinder your relationship. And so it weakens the marriage. It just weakens everything. So you don't want to do that. Hey broski. So making sure that you speak positive, even if you may not agree with what you're saying, but you just want to speak positivity in general, and then you want to encourage your stepkids to have a relationship with their biological parent as much as possible. You want to encourage that. And it also depends on your relationship, on the situation. But for our situation, my husband, he got custody of his kids. So we all live together. Although we're a blended family, we live together. So our family household dynamic is different. So it's different. All of our kids live together. Yeah. So it's different. So each situation has a different dynamic. So you just have to figure out what works for your household and what works for your environment. And then the other one is, you don't have to try to keep up with your ex. Oh, they did. Oh, hey, Dr. Younger. She said, my parents did the same thing with me. I have a great relationship with my stepmom. Yep. You got to encourage the relationship on both ends. And I know I've had with my stepdaughter, even though she's not really my stepdaughter, she's my daughter, because I've been in her life since she was 2. So that's my baby Camille. She me and her sometimes will have a talk, and and she'll ask me questions about her mom, and she'll kind of say, well, she asked me one time, how would I feel if she had a relationship, if she got close with her mom? And I said, oh, I think you should be close with your mom. I would never want you to feel like you couldn't be close with your mom, because you should have a close relationship with your mom. So I think that made her feel good with moving forward with, trying to pursue a close relationship with her mom, because I don't want her to feel like I'm trying to, I would be jealous, although it kind of struck a nerve when she said it to me, because I'm like, I don't want you, I wanted her to be close to me, but I understand, but I understand both sides. So I'm like, yeah, you should definitely have a relationship with your mom, so yeah, so I get that. But another one of my researching points that I have that I wanted to point out is, maintain traditions with your kids, whether they're in your house, outside of your house, whether they're biological, just try to maintain the traditions. And explain to your kids that there are 2 families with 2 histories coming together. Just talk to your kids as much as possible and explain to them what's going on, so that they know, these two families, blah, 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 sorry, having a tongue twist. These 2 families are coming together with 2 histories and 2 traditions. And so when me and my husband first got together, and he was previously married, they had family traditions that they had within his previous marriage. And so when we came together, we took on some of their traditions, but we kind of changed it up and added some stuff to it so that they was familiar with that, and then we added some more stuff to make it what we make it our own family thing. So for instance, I'm giving an example. So for Christmas, I was used to having a fake tree for Christmas, just having a fake tree. For me, Christmas, I didn't care about a real tree. But in his, with his family, his previous family, they had a real tree. And so he said, can we still have a real tree? I was like, yeah, that's fine. So we still kept that tradition. We would get a real tree for Christmas every year until about 10 years in, and he got tired of buying a real tree, because we had to get all those leaves that fell off, those pines that fell off, and sweep them up. And now we back to a fake tree again. But in the beginning, we was doing a real tree because that's what his kids were used to. But my son was used to a fake tree, so it didn't matter to him. But his kids were used to a real tree, and so they were accustomed to that. And so I didn't mind doing that, because it didn't, Like, why would I be petty over a tree? So, but anyway, so that was just an example of some of the things that we, that we incorporated to keep up, to make the kids feel comfortable, with that. Yeah, so maintain traditions, and then, see if the kids would like to be a part of creating new traditions and, creating different things. Like, I know we involve the kids on, like, I know this year we had the kids, we let the kids decorate for the entire Christmas for this year. We didn't do no decorating. I mean, I didn't pick up a box. I didn't pick up no wrapping paper. I didn't pick up no tree. I didn't pick up no Christmas lights. I didn't pick up anything. They did it. Every piece of decoration they did. I didn't do anything. So, and they loved it. So I'm gonna let them continue to do it. So that's they created that. So I'm gonna let them do it. Let me see what else. So the other thing, the last thing is they said is you don't have to like keep up with your ex. You don't have to keep up with your ex. So now the example that I found was for this one was like, if your ex, let's say for example, if your ex is like going out and buying your child these major gifts and taking them on these expensive exotic trips, and then you're trying to keep up with them because you want to outdo your ex, like, there's no need to do that, because your kids are going to love you no matter what. So you don't have to outdo each other. Like, you know how you try to outdo someone in order for someone else to love you more, to try to outdo, I guess that's what they call it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is be yourself as a parent and love your child, build a relationship with your child, and it's going to be fine. Just make sure you like get that time in with them. And even if your kids don't live with you, because some blended families, the kids don't live with you. You do visitation. Like, we don't have the traditional blended family. Most traditional blended families, most of the time the kids don't live with the father. They live with the mom, the biological mom. So we have the non-traditional blended family. So like you can take out time. Make sure you're taking out time to spend with the kids. Quality time is important, especially in a blended family, because they need to know that they're important and that they matter, and that they're still loved. Because whenever you are in a blended family and you come together as the parents and you have other kids, the kids that are not biological can feel some type of way. So making sure that you are including them in certain things and showing them that they matter and that they're important as well. And so let me see what else I got. And I also, this is some stuff that I wrote down that we do that I wanted to share too, and then I'll be done. So some additional attributes to blended families is praying together as a family, having Bible study together like once a week. Definitely helps a lot, because you get a chance to have that open dialogue and to talk about stuff and to just get to know your kids on a deeper level. Because the more that you communicate with them and just spend time with them, the more that you get to know them, and the more that you learn about them, and that you're like, wow, I didn't know that. But you just become more deep rooted in that relationship. So you want to do that. Plan family vacations, depending on the family size. I mean, you may not be able to do it every year. Even if it's once every other year or once every 3 years or whatever the case may be, and it doesn't have to be nothing really expensive. And then it could be something, it doesn't have to be an out-of-state vacation. It could be a local, you can do a local vacation. It doesn't have to be something expensive, because I know it's going to be based off of budget and stuff like that. So try to do family vacations, take family photos, play family games together. I know my kids, they love Monopoly, Uno, all those games that card games. They like to do puzzles now. I know during the quarantine, I ordered some puzzles. Now they're into doing puzzles. Now I I hate puzzles. I used to love puzzles when I was a kid, but now I don't like puzzles. It's too time consuming. But they love puzzles, and I watch them do it and talk to them. But I'm just not a puzzle girl no more. But anyway, it helps to keep the engagement. Have family movie night. Like, they love to watch movies, so we'll do movie night. Have some popcorn. So just doing stuff together. And then for moms, no matter if you're a mom, stepmom, I don't care if you're an auntie mom, an uncle mom, I don't care what type of mom you are, I don't care, you adopted mom, foster mom, whatever kind of mom, grandma mom, you became a mom again, whatever kind of mama you are, I don't care. You need self-care. Self-care is priority. You got to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have time for nobody else. I talk about self-care all the time on my blog, on my Instagram, on my Roadmap to Balance for Moms page. You got to go check it out, because I talk about that all the time. So self-care, and you need God too. So if you don't have a relationship with God, that's up to you. I can't force you, but I have a relationship with God. I'm a Christian, so God is number one in my life. Don't know about y'all, but He's number one in my life. So it's up to you what you want to do, but I know for me, God is number one. Self-care, prayer, have a pure and forgiving heart. Especially when you're in a blended family, you gotta have a pure and forgiving heart, because things are gonna be said that you're gonna not agree with, you're not gonna like. You just gotta be able to forgive and not sweat the small and petty stuff, because blended families are not easy. It's difficult. It's challenging. Sometimes you're gonna want to give up. Sometimes you're gonna want to walk away. Sometimes you're gonna want to pack your suitcase. I've been there, done that, so many times, so many times. But with my prayer life and my relationship with God and my circle of good girlfriends, you're gonna need a circle of good girlfriends that will push you and encourage you to be at peace, to remain at peace, and that's gonna pray with you and pray for you. Yeah. So it's a must. Yep. You gotta have support. And even sometimes, when you're in a blended family, your spouse may not always understand what you're going through and what you're dealing with as a parent, as a mom. But your girlfriends are there to encourage you and to cheerlead you and to boost you, and to be that listening ear, because you can't always tell your spouse everything that you're feeling and thinking as a stepmom. So I just want to put that out there, because somebody may need to hear that. So, but anyway, some scriptures that I want to leave you with that has helped me. And I know you probably already heard these scriptures before, because I probably bring them up all the time, but these scriptures really do help me. Jeremiah 29:11 and Philippians 4:13. Like, I'm telling you, those are my scriptures, y'all. To heart. Look, these are my scriptures. My ride or dies. Them my scriptures. Them my ride or die scriptures. If I could fist bump my scriptures, those are my fist bumps. My fist bump scriptures. My ride or die scriptures. But anyway, so this is another point. This is another pivoting point, moms. This is another pivoting point. Blended families, you're going to be pivoting. Pivoting. When you blend in, you pivoting. Pivoting. We're going to be pivoting, y'all. You pivoting all the time when you blending. I'm just telling you. Keeping it 100. You pivoting. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, Jasmine. Hey, Brandon, broski. So, anything else? Anybody else got any questions or anything? If you don't have any questions, I'm going to jump off. But if you do, let me know if you got some questions. I'll answer them really quick. I was just talking about blended families. My last part 3. And if you want to go back and watch the previous videos, you can. on my page. It was part 1 and part 2 is on my page. You can go check it out. And yeah, blended families it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, especially if you and your spouse are willing to work through it and do the work. So, no questions? Okay. I think I will talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.